Well, here we are again, sitting in the Radio Entrepreneur studio, high atop Newton, Massachusetts. And my name is Jeffrey Davis. I'm the host of Radio Entrepreneurs. I'm also CEO and founder of Mage LLC. Hard to believe, started Mage in 1985, worked with leaders and entrepreneurs in over 700 organizations. Kind of amazing when you think about it, at least for me to think about it, because I remember the first day on the job. Our next guest is Gillian Isabelle, CEO of Enlivity. Welcome,
Thank
Gillian.
you. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's got a positive name, and I'm sure it has a positive meaning. What is Enlivity all about?
Well, Enlivity is a cancer supportive care company, and we are based here in Greater Boston. We provide products for patients going through chemotherapy and radiation treatments that help them to manage the side effects of their treatment. So as I'm sure you know, when people go through chemotherapy and radiation treatment for cancer, the side effects can be very difficult, very challenging for the patient. They can really affect the patient's quality of life. They can affect the patient's ability to complete the treatment. And it can really add significantly to the cost of care because the side effects are what frequently land the patient in the hospital, not the treatments themselves. And so our goal at Enlivity is to support patients as they go through these treatments, just helping them to complete the treatment cycle. There is a significant percentage, about 20% of patients who will stop their treatments early because the side effects are so challenging. And we don't want that to have to happen. So we want to provide support to patients while they go through treatment so they can get to the end of the treatment cycle.
Gillian, I would assume you have a medical background. Tell me about yourself and how you got into this.
I don't have a medical background. My background is actually in engineering. I did my PhD work in a tissue engineering lab at MIT. And from there, kind of went into the biotech industry. So worked in the biotech industry for several years. And it always struck me the amount of time and energy and resources that it takes to develop new drugs. And, I have a tremendous amount of respect for people doing that work. It's very, very challenging work. But I became interested in nutrition and the potential of nutrients to do, helpful things for the body, and the idea that there are potentially therapeutic molecules in the foods that we eat. And if we can just understand what these molecules are doing and harness them in the correct way, we could do a lot of good for a lot of people. And so the fundamental technology behind our products is similar to the technologies used in the pharmaceutical and biotech industries for tissue targeting and drug delivery. Our products are focused around what we call nutrient delivery. So using the same kinds of tissue targeting techniques to get the nutrients where and when they're needed during the cancer treatment cycle.
Interesting. So again, how did you get into this business?
Well, I was working in biotech, as I said, and had a very good friend who developed cancer. She went through cancer treatments for about 12 years and eventually died of her disease. But one of the things I observed just watching her go through her treatments was that the side effects of the chemotherapy treatments were what really kind of sidelined her. So she never really complained about her disease. She was a very active person and wanted to be able to continue living her life as much as she could while she could. But when she was going through her chemotherapy treatments, they really had a devastating impact on her quality of life. She wasn't able to do all of the things that she liked to do. And I started to think about, like I said, in biotech, there's a lot of focus on developing the next generation of cancer drugs. But what was being done for patients on the current drugs? I really started to feel that somebody should be doing something to help people going through treatments now and not just looking, 5 or 10 years into the future when new generations of drugs would be available. And so this is how I got interested in kind of how to manage side effects.
Interesting. And how many people are on the team today?
So at the moment, it's a very small team. There are really 2 of us full-time, and then we work with a number of part-time people and freelance and contractors. But there are 2 full-time people on the team.
And who retains your services?
We sell products. So we have a product. Our first product is now available. It's called Helios, and it is for patients who are suffering from mouth sores as a result of their treatment. So about 40% of cancer patients develop very painful mouth sores when they go through treatment. And these mouth sores can really affect their ability to eat and drink, sometimes to speak. And if they're not resolved, then the patient can become malnourished and dehydrated and maybe have to be admitted to hospital. And so we have a product that is a rinse, a mouth rinse, that helps to rebuild the lining of the mouth and throat that can get degraded during cancer treatment.
Geez, I bet you that would be something I would need, because my mouth has always been very sensitive to different things. So.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Yes.
I had cancer, but I did not have chemo. So.
Okay. Okay.
Interesting. It would be a mouthwash product. Again, is it bought by the hospital? Is it bought by the insurance provider? Is it bought by the consumer? Where does it get? How does the whole channel work?
So at the moment, we sell in 3 different ways. We sell directly to patients through our website.
Mm-hmm.
We also sell to hospitals and cancer treatment centers. And in some cases, they buy the product and they give it to patients for free as part of their treatment plan. In other cases, they buy it and they resell it through the hospital pharmacy. And then we also make it available on Amazon.
Amazon. So you are selling it nationally?
Nationally, that's right. Yes. Yes.
That's good. Do you find that there are certain regions of the country that you're getting greater acceptance than others?
We definitely do. The product was developed by an oncologist who at the time was at MD Anderson Cancer Center. Mm-hmm. And so he put his patients on the product, and his colleagues also started using the product with their patients. And so definitely patients who go to MD Anderson for certain treatments that tend to cause these mouth sores hear about the product, and I guess we have great attraction among those in Texas generally because of that.
I was told that part of what's got you into this business was that you lost a friend to cancer. I mean, I think most of us have lost friends to cancer.
Yes.
I've lost friends to cancer, to COVID, to heart attacks, but it never directed me into a business, but it did for you. It must have been a very important part of your life.
It was a very close friend of mine that I lost, and just kind of observing her journey made me realize, it's something that I should have realized before, but just observing her journey made me realize that, cancer patients are people. They have lives and they have families and jobs and hobbies and things that they want to do. And when they go through the treatment, much of that is disrupted. And I think for them, it's just kind of a constant reminder of their illness. These side effects are just a constant reminder of their illness. And in my friend's case, she got to a point where she decided not to continue treatment and talked about the need to choose between length of life and quality of life. And that really struck me. It really made me think that, people shouldn't have to be making that type of choice. And that's really what kind of got me started on this path.
Well, healthcare choices as you get older, they're difficult choices.
Very difficult, yes.
Very, very difficult. So if you could, can you give me a sense of what the company is going to look like in a couple of years?
In a couple of years, we'd like to have a portfolio of products. I mentioned that we just have our first product available in the market now. We'd like to launch a couple of other products where each product is targeted towards a different side effect, a different cancer treatment side effect. And then we would like to expand into, in the channels that we're currently in now, but also into some retail. So there are a couple of brick and mortar opportunities that we're looking at that we'd like to expand into.
We've been speaking with Gillian Isabelle, CEO of Enlivity. Gillian, if someone's interested in finding you, learning more about the company, how would they do that?
So our website is probably the best way. It's enlivity.com.
Great. Well, that's pretty easy. Thank you for being on the show today. We hope you join our Radio Entrepreneurs Network, and we continue to hear from you and keep updates.
Great. Thank you very much.
Great. And remind everybody, this is Radio Entrepreneurs. Thank you.